So I'm Deb, a marketeer.
I'm Dave, I'm the innovator.
And together, we are Deb and Dave from Diageo, and we lead our breakthrough innovation team. And really what our job is to do is to create sustainable solutions that benefit planet, people, and profit. So we work alongside our great supply chain colleagues on the demand side of the business, but we'll share a bit more on that as we go. So, you might not have heard of Diageo, but I'm sure you will have enjoyed some of our brands and definitely heard of some of our brands. So we'll go to the next slide, and we're going to play a very short video. And our mission is to celebrate life every day, everywhere. So, an industry question I think that is much debated, particularly on the demand side of businesses, is who moves first? Consumers or companies? And we're going to spend the next sort of 12-ish minutes talking through our point of view on this and how we're approaching it at Diageo. But first, some audience participation, which doesn't rely on the videos working. So I want to see a show of hands for those of you that think that consumers should move first when it comes to creating the pull for sustainability. So hands up for those who think it's up to consumers.
A couple.
Humans, people that enjoy our products every day around the world to show an interest in sustainability before we move. Okay, good. All right, next, those who think it's up to the company to create, right, very good. And for those of you that were hedging your bets, waiting to see what everybody else thought, any stragglers that are either sitting on the fence or just don't know? No, very good. All right, okay, well, we're going to spend the next 10 minutes talking to you about our point of view, as I said, on this. So I'm going to start by really focusing on the consumer first. And we speak a lot about the say-do gap in sustainability. And what this really is the fact that lots of people say they want to live more sustainably. You don't meet many people that say they don't. However, those that then act on that behaviour are very few and far between. So in our category, beverages, 68% of people say they would like to live more sustainably, but only 12% of people actually turn that into action. And I hear way too much that's consumers are lazy or the burden is on consumers. For too long, I'm declaring our point of view quite quickly on it, is that we have put the burden on consumers, and we don't believe that's right. When you ask consumers why aren't they able to turn their attitude into action, they'll cite a few reasons. The top one is always sustainable solutions are more expensive. Then they will also mention that they don't feel like they know enough. They're not experts themselves. They're hard to find. They're just not around, is the next reason. And then they're not as effective. They don't work. And also, just habit, creatures of habit. So what we believe at Diageo is that we must close this say-do gap as brands and companies, that we should offer better solutions that are also more sustainable. And we've got a concept that we're going to introduce now called the AND. But first, some examples from brands and companies we really admire. And actually in FMCG, there are many great examples and beyond. Schmoll is my go-to household detergent brand now, actually started by an ex-P&G colleague. And the reason I love Schmoll is not because I'm in the sustainability world. The reason is because I'm a very busy mum who needs to, keep the clothes clean and everybody happy whilst also living my life. And to have the tablets come through the door that I dilute in the home, because I've got water in the home. I don't need liquids travelling around between me and Tesco or other retailers that are available. And so actually Schmoll for me is easier and more sustainable. Sticking with the same category, we have the concept of better products that are also more sustainable. So remember that barrier for consumers that they don't believe the products are better. Well, actually, in introducing their cool, clean technology, Ariel really have addressed a few consumer barriers here. One is cost of living crisis, actually. Being able to wash your clothes on a lower temperature and save on your bills as well as contribute towards the planet is very motivating for consumers. So a better performing product that is also more sustainable. And finally, my go-to hand wash brand that I love, Raindrop. And the reason I love Raindrop, again, is because it's easy. There's a really beautiful range of fragrances available in foaming tablets. So again, I'm not collecting really, really heavy liquids. They're not being shipped around the world. But the device they've given me that foams the foaming hand wash is beautiful. And I can personalize it to the color of my bathroom. So as marketeers and innovators, we believe we should create desirable products that are also more sustainable. So in summary, we talk about the and. Sustainability is an and, not an or. And this is how we approach everything at Diageo. And in doing so, what we believe is that we believe that we can achieve the triple win. So Dave will talk to this more, but every new sustainable solution that is coming out of our business will achieve three things. And we're happy to talk about how we measure this internally, but it will benefit people, it will benefit the environment, and it will benefit our business and our shareholders. Dave.
Cool. Thank you, Deb. Maybe we should go back to the original question. So who moves first, consumers or companies? Can I still see who still thinks that consumers should take the lead? Anybody? Yeah, couple. Great. I hope that throughout the presentation we can convince you that maybe companies should be taking the lead. We firmly believe at Diageo that companies should take the lead because even though consumers are more concerned and more aware about sustainability topics, we don't feel like they should compromise between what is good for them and what is good for the company, for the planet. That's why we use the principle of the sustainability and that Deb just explained, which is actually using sustainability to be an enhancer and not something that is reductive for the consumer. And to do that, sustainable innovation plays a big role. And within sustainable innovation, which is the backbone of our strategy, packaging plays an important role. Packaging materials account for 1/3 of our Scope 3 emissions. And out of the total emissions that we have at Diageo, Scope 3 represents 90% of them. So that's like a very good chunk of our emissions profile. Within this, the packaging sustainability pipeline, we have a lot of short and long-term actions. This includes reducing the materials that we use today, eliminating excess packaging, lightweighting our existing glass bottles, but also thinking about the future of sustainable innovation on novel materials and substrates. So our brands, they have been packaged for the same way throughout the generations for many, many years. Now it's the time that we have to rethink how we can envision the future to be. A good example of this exploration is actually this paper bottle that we actually tested this first time this year in a food festival in Barcelona. This bottle consists of 90% of paper, a thin plastic liner, and a foil seal. It's designed to be recycled in standard paper streams, and at the same time, is designed to be convenient because of its portable format. So this is a good example of our progress over perfection principle. We have a North Star to have more simplified structures, but this is a good step towards that direction that we want to go. So this bottle, for example, based on the LCAs that we conducted, could save over 50% of carbon as compared to the existing format in PET. So, but how did the trial go? Let's take a look at this short video.
We're making the world's first dry molded fibre bottles, and the first of us to market is going to be the Bailey's Mini.
What's exciting about these paper bottles is that they're 90% paper with a very thin plastic liner, and for the Bailey's bottle, a foil cap. developing bottles made from paper is totally new and novel, and it's been a real journey. We've focused on progress over perfection to ensure that we can put bottles in consumers' hands and understand how they're going to react and respond.
Yeah, as you could see in some of the smiles in the video, the trial went really well. I was there, I could see consumer reactions firsthand, and we conducted interviews with over 300 consumers, qualitative and quantitative research. 86% of them felt that the fact the bottle was made out of paper was a positive move for the brand. And the final overall score was 8.1 out of 10, which is quite high for our category. But of course, this is not just about the positive side. We also learned a lot through the trial. For example, consumers shared with us that they would prefer to have a different type of closure, that you could actually reclose the bottle. So that's something that we learned. We're going to be taking for the next round of iterations. And they also share something that is quite insightful, that they would like to have on-pack sustainability messaging, which is something that we didn't think of for our category, because when you're having a drink, sustainability is not the first thing that comes to mind. So that was a good set of learnings that we are taking those learnings, applying the principle of progress over perfection. So we are learning, listening, and evolving the concepts so we can get to a faster pace of innovation. So that's more or less our approach. So what is next? Looking ahead, the future looks quite bright and full of potential. On better packaging, which I shared with you a little bit of our strategy today, it's a big chunk of what we do. However, we still have a lot coming up on the product side as well, in terms of having better liquids and new formats that could even set a new standard for the industry. We are also diving deeper into circular solutions. We have an external partnership, for example, with Eco Spirits, that can deliver our spirits in kegs, so in an eco-tote, so a circular model. We are also going to experiment later on this year a new bespoke solution of an automatically refilled bottle for the bar owners to make this more efficient for the bars, so that convenience aspect is there, at the same time that we can minimize the resource usage through that model. So stay tuned that this is coming up later this year. And here, our commitment is quite clear. We are flipping the say-do gap by providing solutions for consumers that are high quality, desirable, and more sustainable. We don't think that the consumer should be the ones leading the conversations alone. We think that companies should take the lead, but with the consumer at the center. Because when you put the consumer at the center, you are evolving those concepts in a way that this sustainability solution is going to be the one of choice for all. So thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Dave. Deb and Dave, it either sounds like a crime-fighting duo or a Eurovision entry. I can't decide which one. I'll allow you to take your own pick there. We've got time for very, very quick question or two from the audience, if there are any. I'll see if there are any hands. So just at the front. I'm very grateful that it was a hand at the front this time.
Thanks. Really good presentation. Darren Weston from SAP. Have you worked out what the impact is on EPR fees and CO2, and is there a trade-off?
Not on the EPR fees yet, so we are working on this. On the CO2 emissions, we are actually working very heavily on this. So, for example, in terms of the CO2, for the example that I mentioned, we have done LCA, external LCAs to validate the results, and we are comparing to PET, which is the existing minis format, but also with glass, which is the full-size format as well. As compared to glass, the CO2 impact can actually be better than 80%, which is quite huge because glass is heavier and all of that. Compared to PET's 50% and above, so about 53%, if I'm not mistaken. And even compared to recycled PET, the potential carbon savings can be close to 30%. So that's something that we are doing, like everything that we are doing is science-backed. So we try to have external companies validating all those experiments so we can move on.
Okay, we have time for one more. I think the first one was right at the back. I can guarantee one thing: by the end of tomorrow, I will have tripped up these stairs at least once. So make sure someone films it. It'll go more viral than anything else we do today. Where was that hand over here?
Hello.
Hello.
You just talked then about your better liquid policy, and I was just wondering if a lack of natural resources and water reduction is affecting that and affecting your efforts to do that, and how's that affecting your long-term goals?
Yeah, there are two layers to this question. One is water is a big topic for us as well. So we are trying to develop liquids in a way that we can minimize the water impact. So that's one part. The second part is that I mentioned that packaging is 1/3 of our Scope 3 emissions. The other 1/3 is actually ingredients, which goes into the liquid. So optimizing the way that we do liquids is crucial to minimize the carbon aspect as well. So you're going to have a double win in water and carbon by going into more sustainable liquids as well.
And just to bring that first question connected to the second one, actually, we don't look, as you would hope and imagine, one-dimensionally at these innovations. We have an in-house sustainability screener, which is externally validated, which Dave spoke to, which looks at everything: water, ingredients, usage, people, effects on the people that make the product or consume the product. So we are all encompassing, because what we do not need is brilliant solutions that score any own goals in any other areas of progress. So we have we hope quite a comprehensive approach, but progress over perfection. If you take one thing away today, I think we have to celebrate steps forward rather than beat ourselves up about steps back. But hopefully that has been a good session, and we are Deb and Dave, the crime fighters / Eurovision Song Contest today.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.